Bienvenido to another episode of Oswego Deportes Update. I'm Blaze Hill. Adam, I gotta be honest, bro, I'm a little disappointed. I thought you were gonna bring back some of that warm Florida sunshine for me. What happened?
I'm Adam Rupsnick, and I left everything in Florida, including my soul. Spring sports are officially underway. We'll tell you what you need to know about the Lakers spring sports squads.
And Adam, we're gonna talk NBA, MLB, and a little thing called March Madness. Maybe you've heard of it? All this and more coming up right here, right now on OSU.
You're watching
Oswego
Sports
Update.
Well, before we talk about the sports on the grass, we need to do one final wrap-up with the men's ice hockey team. The Lakers fought hard and earned their Final Four ticket for the right to play in Maine last weekend. However, the men lost in the semifinal to Wisconsin-Stevens Point, falling just 2 wins shy of the program's second national title. Although this team came up just short, I think it's important to emphasize what we've been talking about all year, Adam. This team is young, and they'll be back with a vengeance next season.
Yeah, definitely. And since we're in the end of the season here, let's talk about their end run. They won 7 in a row until that loss. A young team that kind of struggled a little bit throughout the year, and struggling for Oswego State isn't that bad. So coming in with all these freshmen, their top 7 scorers, none of them are seniors. Their top 4 are freshmen. They're all coming back, all ready to compete. This team could be real good in a couple of years.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Adam. Badham and Titanic are the only 2 graduating. And, of course, there's something to be said about the leadership there. I think that's the biggest role that we're looking at that needs to be filled. Because, obviously, it's not scoring. It's not defense. All those categories are filled. Certainly goaltending is filled. It's just going to be about finding that leadership next year, which, let's be honest, this is a program that has bred leadership from the start, especially, Titanic did such a great job leading this squad as the captain this year. I'm really not concerned about, there being a lack of leadership next year on this team.
Yeah, you saw this year's team be you saw the young spots in the team. They had some bad periods that cost them some games, especially with Geneseo. They lost twice in the regular season because they had bad periods against them, almost blew it in the SUNYAC's championship. So the young spots filed, but now these kids, the freshmen coming in here, they saw that national title right there, right in front of them. Look out, they're coming back.
Adam, I think that's what it is. I think they taste it. I think they'll be ready next year.
All right, as the spring sports are starting to get on the field, the Oswego State baseball team has already played 13 games. All along the coast, the team has worked their way to a 9-4 record. This team has some good numbers early. Blaze, do you think they have what it takes this year?
Adam, I really do. The first thing I notice about this team is that, they're 9-4, as you mentioned, but I think the most impressive thing about that 9-4 is that they did it against teams that, they don't traditionally play. These weren't conference opponents. They were all road games, traveling, as you mentioned, all along the coast. They didn't have a lot of time to scout or prepare for these teams, and I think that speaks volume. Then you move over to the statistics right now. You got 8 guys batting above 300. You have a team ERA of 4.54. They're looking really impressive, Adam. I found it hard to find something wrong with this team right now.
Yeah, the argument of it's early, you can't really say anything. Well, it's better to be 9-4 early than
4-9.
Yeah, 4-9 early. So coming in, this team definitely has some good batting numbers. Josh Martin pitching real well for them, 2-0, only a 1.23 ERA. So real good numbers are doing well. I mean, for this squad. They're coming in, now they're back up here. I reckon a lot of games might get canceled with this great weather we're having. But
especially this weekend.
In the swing of things, they're on the right track.
Yeah, and I think, key is obviously starting pitchers. Right now they've got 4 starters who look, to kind of be taking the reins thing, 4 players who have already started 3 games. So a solid rotation of players right now. And when you look at the class breakdown, I think it's important to note the mix of senior leadership as well as young players. So they've got a lot of talented young players to build for the future, but as well a lot of upperclassmen leadership to, lead the team and put things headed in the right direction in this early season. But moving off the diamond, the Oswego State women's lacrosse team is off to a hot start. The women are 4-1 in this young season, and get this, they haven't even played a home game yet. Their one loss was by a 2-goal margin to a physical RIT team on the road. Now, Adam, the Lakers are scheduled for their first 2 games this week, field conditions pending. What has helped this team have early success thus far?
Well, they're scoring goals. They're outscoring their opponents by almost 20 goals. They have 54. Their opponents have 35. So they're out there. They're really getting it going, starting scoring goals. 2 players already have double-digit goals for them. Yeah. They've only played 4 games.
Yeah, and they have a great mix of how they're winning their games. They can score, they can play defense, and they grabbed that close win against Springfield College, 5-4. It's totally different when you're up in a game 15-5 compared to 5-4 late in the game. The strategy is totally different. So in terms of the types of games they're playing and the types of games they're forcing their opponents to play, I've been really impressed with this team. They're balancing out their halves pretty well in terms of mixed number of shots, mixed number of goals, this and that, and they're shooting right around 50%, which, especially early in the season, you can't ask for much better than that.
Yeah, definitely. Going in every time, half the times down, you're going to score. I mean, maybe they stick to this game plan all year, become a high offensive power team. Defense goaltending doesn't really matter if you're scoring a lot of goals.
Yeah.
While the Oswego State men's lacrosse team is getting their season started after a trip to North Carolina, the team stands at 3-2 with the conference picking up. Do you think about this early team?
Well, Adam, I think, the first thing you look at is the players that we've been watching now for several years. The Cody Hooses, the Connor Kamars, players like that who we've been watching them since they're freshmen. Now they're juniors. Their leadership this year I think is going to be crucial. They're playing pretty well. They're playing pretty consistent across the periods, pretty consistent against their opponents. You mentioned, they do have those 2 losses, but they're to Ithaca and St. John Fisher. Those are 2 upper echelon Division III programs, whether it's, lacrosse, any sport really, really in a conference that I guess one would consider, kind of ranked above the SUNYAC. So those 2 losses, they don't even really concern me, honestly.
Yeah, interesting program here. I feel like every spring we have this same debate about this lacrosse team. Like, how good they could be, all the talent they have on the team, the potential they show, and that sometimes they carry through, sometimes they don't. But you got to worry about big teams in the SUNYAC, Cortland.
And that conference, what happens the last 2 years? They lose almost all their conference games.
And then,
so that's really going to be the focus for them this year because that, like you said, that's the big concern.
Yeah, you got to focus in. I mean, it doesn't matter how many games you win. The conference is what you play for, and there's some good teams in the SUNYAC conference.
You could go undefeated, but it's the postseason is all determined on, as you mentioned, the conference record. Well, that's not all the Oswego sports coverage we've got for you tonight. Our athlete of the week is here and ready to talk with Dan the Man North about his team's early success and what to watch this season. Stick around to find out who's in studio after the break. This is OSU. That was good. That was good.
You're watching
Oswego
Sports.
Up to
This can't be happening.
This can't be happening. Of course it's not happening. Armored car. Listen, having money isn't about luck. Make your own coffee, save $1,000 a year. Feed me. Feed the pig.
I present to you Algebra 2. Foreign languages. And finally, biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me. Yeah, I'll do it. Me too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
Hey Laker fans, remember the following. Be loud, be proud, be funny, be civil.
above all, be positive.
We've cleaned up our act on the ice. Now it's your turn to clean up yours in the stands.
Welcome back to Oswego Sports Update. Dan North is over at the round table with our athlete of the week. Let's say hello to men's baseball senior outfielder Scott Buniak. Daniel, take it away, buddy.
Blaze, thank you very much. Like you said, here with Scott Buniak, center fielder and senior for the men's baseball team. Scott, thanks for joining us here on OSU tonight.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. So starting out the season, you guys are heading down south. Played some really good ball down there. 9-4 record to start the year. Exact same record as last year in the same amount of games. How do you feel about the start to the season?
I think it's a strong start to the season. We beat a good team against Amherst, and we lost a close one to Endicott, but it's definitely a good win, and look to continue that the rest of the way forward.
Enjoying the warm weather too, I bet.
Yep, definitely.
And 372 average this year, 352 at this time last year. So far this season, you're killing it. Went 4 for 6 in your last game, scoring 4 runs as well against UMass Dartmouth. How do you feel about your game right now?
I think I'm getting into a groove right now, and I think especially when we all get in a groove, I think we're going to be tough team to beat. So I feel really good right now. Hopefully, continue it.
Yeah, heading into conference play coming up too. Very successful last year was the team, going 27-15. You fell short against Cortland in the SUNYAC championship. What do you guys got to do to get back to that final?
I think we need to bring all three aspects to the game. That is pitching, hitting, and fielding. And if we do that, we're a tough team to beat. And I think Cortland better watch out.
Hey, throwing a little shout out there.
There you go.
First team All SUNYAC last year, as well as D3Baseball.com All New York Region third team. Any big goals for this year?
I'd look to, get to the same point I was last year, and hopefully I'd love to be an All-American this year, but that's going to take a lot of work to get to that point, and I know that, so hopefully that comes around.
Hey, well, you're definitely headed in the right direction. Batting .372, career average of over .320. I know that's a fact. And you're one of the leaders of this team. What did you guys do in the offseason to get the team prepared and off to such a good start?
Yep, we did a lot of lifting. That was a big thing our coach emphasized, and we did a lot of team chemistry. We did hung out with each other a lot. I think that's a big part of the game. You got to be together, and you need to bring that to the field, on and off the field.
Awesome. And like I said, center fielder, shades of Willie Mays. You said you got something to add to that. What do you got?
Nothing too much. I mean, just my uncle almost named my cousin after him. Willie Mays or Wilma Mays, depending on whether he was a boy or a girl. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Baseball roots in the family. And stepping off the diamond here, what did you do? What do you do in your spare time, and what's your major here at Oswego?
In my spare time, I like to hang out with my friends. Definitely, Oswego is a great place to do that. And my major is health promotion and wellness. So. It's going good, and I look to go into physical therapy after school, hopefully.
Awesome, health and wellness. And we were talking a little bit before the show about intramural sports. You said you skated a little bit. The men's ice hockey team, could they have used you this year?
I'm not that good, no. I wish, but maybe someday I'll be playing in the league somewhere. But no, these guys are phenomenal. They were fun to watch this year, and go Lakers.
All right, Scott. Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you
awesome
very much.
9-4 start this year, the men's baseball team. And when we return, we'll catch you up on what's happening in national sports. Don't touch that dial. This is OSU.
Everyone has friends. There's online friends, friends to go out with on a Saturday night, friends to hang out with and do nothing, friends who show up on moving day. And then there are the friends who'll be there if someone is dealing with a mental illness. Are you one of those friends?
WTOP TV 10, Oswego, New York. I'm the Kid Cowboy.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
Welcome back to OSU. Let's hand it over to Dan the Man North, who has some topics up for grabs. Dan, what you got?
Well, guys, kicking things off here with the two-time defending NBA champions Miami Heat. A banged-up and frustrated LeBron James let his voice be heard after the team's tough loss to the New Orleans Pelicans the other night, saying that, quote, everything is an excuse, end quote. This is the Heat's 7th loss in an 11-game stretch. Guys, are you okay with LeBron calling out his teammates, though?
Well, Adam, here's what I'm going to say about this. First, to me, the quote, when I first heard it, it sounded like he was calling out the team, which kind of includes him. But let's, for argument's sake, say LeBron is calling out his teammates. He's one of, if not, he's either the first or the second best player in the NBA, depending on your opinion on whether it's him or Durant. I think he has the right to call out his teammates, Adam.
Yeah, 100%. He is the best player on that team. He has every right. Actually, we got to update that. He won the game tonight. He had 30-plus points tonight for this team. He steps up when he needs to. He is the best player in the NBA. I mean, let's all put it away. He's the most gifted player in the NBA. Yeah. He has every right to tell his team that should be winning a championship every single year. No excuses about it. Hey, let's step it up.
Yeah, and I don't even think he's stepping on the coach's toes. You know, he's the on-court leader. He's, like you said, the best player on the team. I think he's not even out of his role. I think he's well within his rights to call his team out. And, you know, maybe, hey, I'm sure it'll serve as a little motivation. If LeBron James called you out on the basketball court, would you step your game up?
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned it over here about Bill Russell. I'm not comparing LeBron James to Bill Russell, but, hey, he was a player-coach for a while.
Why not? Why not? All right, Dan.
Stepping back on the diamond, spring training is over and the MLB regular season is underway. Magic Johnson is one of many Los Angeles Dodgers fans excited about their 2-0 start to the season. Now, Blaze, I know it's not Spain we're talking about, but what's your guys' impressions on the MLB opening series over in Australia?
Oh, Magic Johnson probably likes it because he's got got a little more money when the Dodgers play over in Australia. But I don't know why. It just feels like professional sports are pushing these extra things upon. There was like 15 hockey games outside this year. The NFL's going into London and everything. I didn't even hear about this opening day game in Australia.
Yeah, literally. I got on Twitter the next morning, and you know, the day after this game had happened, and everybody's tweeting like, "Oh, apparently the MLB season started last night. The Dodgers beat the D-backs. Who knew?" You know, if you're going to do this, if you're going to put all this money and all this time, it's not an easy flight to Australia. You know, make it worth your while. I think from a D-backs, from a Dodgers, from an MLB standpoint, you know, this was poorly publicized. I didn't hear anything about it. Now, granted, it was during March Madness, you know, so that's pretty much what everyone was talking about. The same weekend as El Clasico, but also it was like a week before the actual open to the season, so maybe the date was a little wrong. But I don't disagree with you that, you know, these teams are really trying really hard for this global push, and it does seem a little forced. It does seem a little forced. All right. Well, the madness is upon us. 16 teams remain in the NCAA basketball tournament. We've got a special March Madness edition of Bracket Busters when we return. This is OSU.
Every night before the show, me and the guys, we like to loosen up a little bit.
Blue, 42, hike!
Every now and then, Dan likes to take it a little too far. But hey, the show's all about competition, so we'll take it.
Stupid Dan with stupid football and stupid running.
Hey, how's it going?
Sir, are you okay?
What? Oh, this? It's probably nothing. I'm sure it'll go away.
Go away? But sir, that can't be good.
No, it's cool, really.
Do you want a napkin or something?
Everything's fine. Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this. So why ignore the signs of a stroke? At the first warning signs, call 911 immediately. Because time lost is brain lost.
Welcome back. Hey, Dan, March Madness is in full swing, and I'm ready to talk about those crazy upsets.
Well, Adam, talk about crazy. Let's break down each region up to this point and then give me a winner of that region. Kicking things off here first is the South region, where two double-digit seeds remain standing tall. After knocking off the top dogs, Stanford and Dayton will face off to determine who will play the winner of number 1 seeded Florida and 4 seeded UCLA. Who do you guys have winning the surprising South region?
Well, Adam, let's start with this. This was the South region. Syracuse lost in the second round. All right, now we're done talking about Syracuse. Let's talk what Dan asked
talking about Syracuse months ago.
Well, all right. Okay, so now I might throw in some Duke jabs in the next segment. But regardless, I think, to me, I watched the Florida Gators game when they played Pittsburgh. Kind of hung around in the first half. The Panthers did. And then the Gators, they really just took that game over. And you know the old saying, if you ain't a Gator, you gate a bait. Everybody else in the South better watch out.
Yeah, they definitely have now with Dayton and Stanford both in that other side of the bracket, Florida's got an easy path to this Final Four. Easy path. There's no question, I think, in this one. Florida, a real solid team. The only reason Dayton and Stanford are really good is because they have seniors and leadership, and they've been playing together for a while. Well, guess who the Florida Gators have?
Scotty Wilbekin. They do have Scotty Wilbekin. They're built for this tournament. Everything you want in a team. You got the big men, you got the guards. They can score, they can play defense. They're so well rounded, and that's what we talk about. Every time a team loses, it's they didn't have this, they didn't have this. Everything you want a team to have in March, this team has right now, Adam. And plus, I don't see UCLA matching up with them well, and I don't see Dayton or Stanford matching up with them well.
I think they'll get by UCLA, and then they'll embarrass. They're going to embarrass Dayton.
Especially if it's Dayton. You see Dayton play against Syracuse. They didn't play that well.
Reroute them.
Dan, there's 3 more regions, right? Are we moving on to the next
one? Oh, yeah.
Right.
Moving to the Midwest region, where no number 1 seeds remain. We have number 8 Kentucky, who knocked off Wichita State, facing off with the defending champs in Louisville Cardinals. On the other side, we have number 2 seed Michigan facing 11 seed Tennessee, who is on a roll. Who are you guys coming out here on top?
Well, I think Louisville here. They're the strongest team left. Kentucky, and they had the talent to do it, but they're pretty inconsistent. This Wichita State team was good, but they were in control. Wichita State got out to a big lead, and Kentucky just kind of half-heartedly got back into it and won the game. They're real good, have a lot of talent, but I don't think they can be a strong Louisville team. Louisville's very consistent this year. They get it done at the bottom of the bracket. Tennessee, Michigan without Mitch McGary, and Tennessee, they might wear each other down. I got Louisville.
I got Louisville, too. I think in the Tennessee-Michigan matchup, it'd be interesting to see Tennessee kind of make that run. Every year you have the first 4 team that likes to go deep. I think Tennessee could be that team, but Michigan's another team, very, very sound offensively and defensively. When I look at Kentucky, I think Coach Calipari said it best, the head coach of Kentucky. That was the best game they played all season. And are they really going to replicate that again in their very next game? They shot 55% from the field. Is that something that's going to happen again?
And Louisville, if they get a lead like that, if they get a lead like Wichita State did, they're going to keep that going. They're not going to let them back into it like that.
You talk about senior leadership. I don't think there's any team in this tournament that has it better than Louisville does.
Harrison was getting his pocket picked. Bad.
I will say though, that Kentucky-Louisville game, regardless of how that shapes out, that's going to be a great game to watch, folks. Great game. Next region.
We got your cookies over here, Adam. Next is the East, where for the most part, the favorites have advanced to the Sweet 16. The biggest shocker in this part of the bracket seems to be the gritty Shabazz Napier-led Connecticut Huskies. Next up for UConn is number 3 Iowa State, who escaped with a big win over North Carolina. The winner will face either Michigan State or Virginia, which I think might be the best game we will see in this tournament. Who comes out on top?
Let's talk about the most exciting player in this region, the thing everybody's talking about.
Most underrated player in the country.
I don't think anybody can argue with you on that. Everybody knows, not everybody, but, college basketball fans know his name. But, UConn now with, being in, the fake Big East or, the Catholic 7, whatever you want to call it. Bottom line is they're not in a huge conference anymore that doesn't get a lot of attention. And I think Shabazz Napier is so underrated. You watch that game, and he took it over. Yeah. Even after he got injured, he came back into that game, and he took over. He is unbelievable to watch. Reminds me a little bit of Kemba Walker.
Yeah, that's the discussion. The discussion I had when we were talking about UConn and before the bracket. I said, this guy, he can literally. I'm picking UConn because he can take over a game. Not to win this bracket though. Michigan State. Win the bracket. Michigan State is my team, but it's Michigan State, UConn in the Elite.
This is Michigan State's bracket to lose, but I think UConn does get done over Iowa State. But don't sleep on Iowa State. They got a lot of great players. They're very well rounded. Again, that senior leadership that we keep harping on. And Dan, I'm right there with you. I think Virginia, Michigan State. This is going to be a great game to watch because neither team really has a bunch of concrete weaknesses that you can pick out. It's going to be these teams just going at it head to head, and that could come down to a turnover late in the game. It really is going to be that kind of game. Ultimately, I think same page. Spartans coming out of that. Tom Izzo in March. Shabazz, he's going to give him a run.
Shabazz.
One more region, Danny.
Finally, we have the Wicked West region, where number 2 Wisconsin faces off with a dangerous Baylor team who ran Dougie McBuckets and Creighton out of the gym. Also, we have number 1 Arizona and the Xavier Thames-led San Diego State Aztecs. Who comes out of the West, guys?
Well, this Baylor team is I think, the most surprising team in the tournament. They're extremely athletic on all cylinders. Got some big dudes on that team. Had kind of inconsistent throughout the year. Now they're really turning it on. They made Doug McDermott look dumb the other night, blowing him out. But San Diego State, I really like them in this bracket. They play fast, the fast break. I love the fast break, and they run it perfectly.
Yeah, San Diego State's a really good team. You got to love up-tempo teams. You know, that's really what I love watching when I watch a basketball game. But Arizona, for me, it comes down to Gordon down low because, you know, they have really all the pieces. If Gordon shows up, I don't think there's any way San Diego State stays with him. San Diego State didn't have trouble with North Dakota State, but they didn't sail by him either. I think this is definitely Arizona's game to lose. Shoot, I think this is Arizona's region to lose. I don't look at Wisconsin as a legitimate threat because they're so defensively oriented. And I said it a couple times already. It's all about scoring in the tournament. And Wisconsin, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to defense. You know, are they going to be able to score? Sometimes they struggle to score 60 points. Arizona, you know, Baylor, these are teams that can score. Baylor proved that the other night against Creighton. I really think this is Arizona's to lose.
Yeah, Arizona has to shoot well because the second they start shooting bad, the San Diego State teams rebound.
That's
jet,
a fair point.
We out.
Yeah.
So I really like San Diego State moving on. I like Baylor too, beating Wisconsin. They're always quietly kind of good, but never really good. Wisconsin. So I like Baylor. I think they're on a roll. They're clicking on all cylinders. San Diego State, Baylor. San Diego State, the Aztecs, baby.
To the Final Four.
Yep.
All right, so give me your Final Four. Just recap it for me.
San Diego State, Louisville, Florida, Michigan State.
All right, and then who you got going to the championship game?
I don't know. Florida.
That's
I think
tough.
Florida gets through. They're too strong right now.
And how good would that
Florida-Michigan
State? That Florida-Michigan State game, how good would that be?
Yep.
That would be something. You know, we talked about Virginia-Michigan State being a good matchup. I think Florida-Michigan State would give that game a run for its money. I got Louisville and Arizona. I got Arizona going to the championship game, and I got Florida. I know it's 2 1 seeds. I'm going to give it to Florida. For the third year in a row, the overall number 1's going to win it. I know that's probably the easy pick to go with, but I got Florida, Louisville, Michigan State, Arizona and Florida, and ultimately, like I said, you ain't a gator, baby. You gator bait. You gator bait.
All right. With just a minute to go, we are going down to the wire. Ranger outfielder Jefferson Provar is out 10 to 12 weeks. Crucial.
It's a concern for the next couple months. I don't think it's a long-term concern for the team or the player. The New York Jets are interested in Eagle wide receiver Deshaun Jackson. Adam, think it'd be a good fit in New York?
Jets, Deshaun Jackson, just where he needs to go. The NHL is discussing a draft lottery. Can you see it?
Honestly, Adam, I don't really see a reason to change this. You know, what is there to gain? That's my big question for the NHL. David Ortiz reached a 1-year deal with the Boston Red Sox with options for additional years after that. Adam, is Big Poppy's age a big concern for you?
Hey, it's a 1-year deal. They just won a World Series. He played great. Give it to him.
Absolutely.
Dan, where did we mess up today?
Well, Adam, the only mistake I have is Blaze just bringing out the Florida Gator chomp. Are you kidding me?
Dude, I'm on the Florida Gator bandwagon. I'm on the bandwagon. I hate to admit it. You know, I really like the Gators. I really like him. Scotty Wilbekin.
Good.
Seems like a guy who would, you know, take you out to a bar and buy your first drink for you.
And there's so much senior leadership too on the team, and
Yeah.
that's why these other teams like Stanford, Dayton are playing well because these guys have played with each other for a long time, and the freshman phenoms, where are they?
Yeah. All right, so obviously we're watching for March Madness later in this week. Up until then, anything you're watching for this week?
I mean,
NBA's coming down to the wire.
NBA's starting to get good. They're starting to play defense, as the not NBA fan would say.
Yep. And MLB opening day coming up this weekend as well.
I was already in Australia.
Well, the opening day in America, I should say, on this lovely continent that we all come home. You know, this has been really good show.
Yeah,
really good show. Thanks to everybody here who helped out. That's all the time we've got here for Oswego Deportes update. We'll try to do a little bit better next time. Tune in again next week. Same time, same place. More of the best Oswego sports banter around.
Until then, for Blaze Hill, Matt Bishop, Josh Kay, and everyone here at OSU, including our guest, I'm Adam Rupsey. Good night. Have a great spring break, Lakers.
Great spring break?
I mean,